put the vocal cords.
Right. Don't have time to do the hair. Okay, welcome to August Crafty Crows with our amazing headliner, Karen Downs-Barton, and all of you wonderful people, whether you're here as an audience member or whether you're here to share your lovely poetry, welcome. Just a few housekeeping items. Um, what's that about? Proposed direction. Housekeeping, please mute for each poet. You can clap after they've read, and you can also use emojis to send hearts and things shooting across the screen. You can also use the chat when somebody's finished reading the poetry. Feel free to use the chat to give them some lovely feedback, praise, and but also put your links to any of your work if you want to share with the rest of us so we can check you out. This event's being recorded, so please only share poems that you're happy with being classed as published. Open mic slots, please keep to your 3 minutes. Please use the chat to share your bios, books and events, as I've just said. And also Gloucestershire Poetry Society, it's volunteer led. So if you can spare a donation, then to keep it going and to obviously to pay people who help out here, that would be, there you go, there it's in the old chat there, along with the running order for the first half. There we go. Right, that's housekeeping. Oh, poem. Okay. Oh, somebody's in the waiting room. So I will kick us off as the sacrificial lamb. And on the theme of lambs, some of you might have heard this one before, but it's one of my favorites. So if you know, there's a poet called Simon Armitage, love him. He went round all the National Trust sites and he wrote, found some letters on my shoe, X and Y. So he wrote a collection based on his adventures around the National Trust sites. But before he got a chance to write this wonderful collection, I had already written a poem about National Trust, and I feel like he was very inspired by it. So I thought I'd share it with you. It's called National Trust Lesbian. Just to clarify, Simon Armitage is not a lesbian. With one hand in her pocket, she gets down on one knee, asks me if I'll consider as she wants to join with me. There's a fire burning in her eyes. I can tell she's really wired, and this is a planned proposal, she pleads. Let's not wait till we're retired. I think she wants to get married. I'll say, yeah, sure, if I must. Darling, she says, will you share a membership to National Trust? We can Google the locations, pin a map upon the wall. With a bit of careful planning, we can try to conquer them all. Let's invest in a picnic basket, matching bags, a camper van. We can travel around the country from Great Yarmouth to Cwmbran. Now, the fuddy-duddy stereotype, I'll take it on the chin as long as there's a tea room and facilities for everyone. I'm in. So she smugly smiles at me, and into my hand she thrusts 2 shiny matching membership cards, because we're hitched with National Trust. Thank you. All right. That's kicked us all off. And we'll run straight on into the open mic section and the wonderful Michael Sindler.
Hey, everybody. So nice to be here in the letting people know about things section of the proceedings. You can maybe read here, I publish you. You'll notice the I is like your eyeball. You is like a female sheep. I did not come up with this, but if you do this Friday night at 9:30 Mountain Time, which means 11:30 Eastern Time on Friday nights, that is my open mic. And also, if you have that I publish you on Tuesday nights, Dane Ince has an open mic called Time to Arrive on the same platform. Would love it if anybody could do. So I'm going to read some really new stuff. This I actually just wrote yesterday. A little tribute to my daddy, called Memoir Gold. As I considered myself a bit of a bard when I was a junior in high school, my father deftly borrowed my notebook. I don't remember handing it over, scrawled full of mostly horrible poetry. He laboriously typed quite a few of the better ones into his Underwood manual typewriter, then went to work where there were mimeograph machines and made several copies as a coverless hand-stapled chapbook in purple ink, and in the evening surprised me with it, a selection wisely edited far better than any I could have picked or sequenced. Humbled and grateful for a statement of artistic validation and encouragement. Absolutely world-class parenting, in my humble opinion. I still have one final yellowing copy. It's worth more than gold to me. And this one is called Raccoon. I used to be more of a raccoon, but nights are not my scene now. I don't scratch the screen or lift lids. I haven't fought down a skunk in ages. Don't feel at home in a dumpster, but I still try to count myself wild. I would like to hibernate like the fat black bears do, but I think of all the emails I would have to answer when I woke up. And I'm going to do a couple teeny short ones. Thank you for giving me enough time. First one's called Dollar. I charge myself $1 to cut my hair, then complain to myself until I give the buck back to me. Um, and I will leave you with this one called Bark. Is humor human? Do dogs bark jokes? Surely cats have mastered sarcasm. Okay, thank y'all very much.
Yes, Michael, thank you. Really enjoyed the raccoon poem. I love raccoons. I don't know why. Um, aren't they fab? Yeah, I love that. Right, next up is Jude. Jude Marr.
Thanks, Emma. Okay, as always, I hope I haven't read these to you before because I never remember to make a list. But here's a couple of fairly short ones. This one is from the manuscript that should appear in print next year, if all goes according to plan. This is called You're Never Alone with a Latte. You're never alone with a latte at my go-to coffee shop, where every dirty stare, every fixed grief, every clinging thing begins to dissolve. Dirty downtown coffee as mind repair is dangerous. Strict secrets are a beating detonation, and old overused lies, all I, but no C, die 3 deep in every crumpled corner. But my workhorse nib is blunt from gouged thought, my only desktop deviant skin, my only body afraid map. So here I am, another tabletop ghost among ghosts, with bare wires twisted into unsprung traps. Not home, but here, a queer confessional, a carved goddam with a single restroom and an outlet, and a cup that's bottomless. Thank you. And then this is fairly recent, so hopefully new to everyone. This is I Don't Remember Dreams. I don't remember dreams, but this fine art museum seems familiar, where sculptures writhe and shift, figures in wood, in stone, in wax, where corridors exist to hang torn photographs, images of broken, splintered, melted, overexposed. I don't remember dreams, but I seem to know the contours of this rope that is eating at my neck as I pendulum above an ocean grey and slick, and hear creatures scream, see a cloud shaped like whale song. Childhood nights, I remember walking circles in my room, trying to breathe, but I don't remember dreams. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much, Jude. I love a coffee shop too. It's one of my favorite places to go to write because there's just so much inspiration there. You meet some really interesting people. Plus, coffee is really good. So next up, we have Ron Bremner.
Hello all. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, 2026 is the 100th anniversary of the publication of Dorothy Parker's first book of poems. And so there is going to be a tribute anthology for Miss Parker released in August this month, and this poem will be in it. The long deceased Miss Dorothy Parker frequently whispers in my ear, or should I say, chides and deflects me from my immediate goals at hand. These cosmic distractions by Miss Parker may seem superficial intrusions and annoying at best, but taken together, they weave a seamless garment of bittersweet truths and facts that have tried to hide their faces from me so I can't see their ugly beauty. But Dorothy can, and wisens me up. To live as we do, one must be forearmed. And as I waltz out among the surrogate arrogance, I keep the invisible Miss Parker on my arm, thankful always for her chic, déclassé smarts. And I've got just one more. 2026 is also the 100th anniversary of Allen Ginsberg's birth, and there's going to be an anthology in tribute to Ginsberg, and this poem is going to be in that. Back in 1979, I was very fortunate to be in the same issue of the Passaic Review with Mr. Ginsberg. So here's the poem. Like Ginsberg's roses in the closet, I will vacate the infinite, reside in this page of time. Like a latent choir boy, I will sing a faint, shrill caricature of your soul, wandering about this nowhere, envious of your final destination. Thank you all, and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you so much, Ron. Next up is Jenna.
Hi. These are some poems that I got published in Steel Jackdaw, which I think is actually my first print publication, so I appreciate that a lot. It's my first time here, so I'm excited to be here. This one's called The 1%. We need a plague to clear the traffic, they said. Mother Nature didn't vaccinate her kids. We were the virus all along. Well, their neighbor died, as they asked. They vanished and became the fog. But that was inevitable. They should have been stronger. Even Darwin agrees with me on that. But these people forget their throats are made of atoms, that their breath is the gas which separates bread from stone, for poverty is built of choking fish, insurance of a summer's heat wave, the police of high fructose corn syrup, and a guillotine is made of wood. And this one is called Flash, and it's about when someone flashes their high beams at you to warn about something around the corner. En route from the watering hole, my neighbor met me with a brief flash of light, leaving a sense of caution and a green splotch in my eye. Oh, the unnecessary benevolence of man! Hark the altruistic dialogue of the machine! The copper and the deer are no match for me, a human recipient of at-large existence. Not with my vehicular benefactor, my own anonymous world brother, perhaps on the way to their own watering hole. And I'll read one more that was published with the Mid-Atlantic Review called Quarry. The sun looks higher here by the quarry. Daylight savings a forgotten grumble for the sleep-deprived days of yestermonth. The time is truly 6:49, but soon the biddies and the babies will start winding down in their copy-paste townhouses, architecturally distinct from the row homes of the city to which they rarely venture, short of a here and there first Friday, or maybe an O's game. I'll be awake for a while now, investing these savings so I have more to spare come November. And thank you.
Thanks, Jenna. Next up is Carol Shepherd.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, everyone. The first poem I'm going to read is about rain, because here in the UK and especially where I live, we haven't seen rain for quite a few weeks. So this one's called Endless Rainy Days. I lie, listen to the rain, each drop a chink on a tin roof. Close my eyes, hear the beat of goat skin, rising like the burr of a bee swarm, palpating drums which pull me back to a land I ache for but have never known, before my ancestors left their hearth-root homes for this golden promised land of plenty, expecting green hills and stone-walled fields, shelter, food, kindness of strangers. Instead, concrete multi-story car parks, litter, pigeon shit, chewing gum, fag end streets, empty shops, doorway sleepers, indifference, and endless, beautiful, dreadful, rainy days. My second poem is called The Rough Sleeper. How have you come to this? What in life left you here in this doorway? A stinking heap of discarded clothes. I don't know if you're still alive or just an abandoned carcass on the beach of life. I expect you to ask for spare change, but even that seems too much for you, with your leather lips and clenched hands. How long since you've seen water? Not to drink, but I mean to wash or shower. Perhaps it's too much to drag all these salt-encrusted clothes from your skeletal body. Perhaps you don't trust that the few items you own will be there when you finish. When was the last time you ate a good meal? I don't mean someone getting you a bag of chips or a sausage roll from Greg's, but a good home-cooked meal, perhaps sat at a table. How has it come to this, that a child with so much potential is now lying at my feet in a city centre while shoppers go about their day without a glance in your direction? You don't even ask for a coffee or a sandwich. Life has deserted you. Life is what happens to other people. You fell off that road some time ago, and no one ever went to fetch you back. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Carol. Beautiful poems. Next up, troublemaker. No, I'm joking. Gerald.
Thanks, Emma. Talking about the lack of rain, I did an accessibility arts workshop. Robert was there, and we did it in the Karma Community Garden. And the prompt for one of the things was the colour green. So this is my colour green poem. Perhaps the colour green is hiding in the grass. I know it's loitering clumped up in the pond and bunching up with yellows in the beds. I've seen it underneath the lavender bees. It dropped a bunch of apples from the trees. Perhaps the colour green is on the skies. It's bloody hot, I'm going home to bed. Perhaps it's waiting till the weather turns and we all grab umbrellas from the stand. Perhaps the colour green hides in the straw. It isn't lost. It will be back for sure. Thank you. And the other day, I was had on the news that beach huts, there's been a slump in beach huts. I mean, this is terrible news. So I thought I've got to write about this. This is called beach huts. There's been a slump in beach huts. I heard it on the news. There's been a drop in children taking off their shoes, paddling in the icy sea, screaming as they bob. Yes, there's been a slump in beach huts. They're not doing their job. Yes, there's been a slump in beach huts. It's causing quite a stir. There's not as many ice creams drooping down, I would infer. The mouths of tots are clean a lot. No raspberry ripple lips. And the seagulls have stopped stealing ice cream cones and fish and chips. Because there's been a slump in beach huts, and it's threatening to be a saucy postcard, wrong bikini, English coast catastrophe. Never mind the climate's fucked, or that there's war eternally. There's been a slump in beach huts, and that's what's worrying me. Don't get me wrong. I don't intend to purchase a small shack, put inside a kettle, deck chair, put its blue stripes back. I'm happy sitting on the beach, struggling with a towel. If something goes amiss, I'm going to simply disavow my hunking, strapping torso, and the other bits as well. Because there's been a slump in beach huts, and as far as I can tell, the howling North Sea wind has not abated one small bit. The tide still brings in every kind of plastic bag and not quite sure what that is. It's like you come on holiday and get the ancient mariner's rhyme. Because there's been a slump in beach huts. I'm off to Benidorm next time. That's me on a serious note today.
Thanks, Gerald. Really expect nothing less. You know what? I'm really disappointed. I was just looking at emojis and I was looking for a beach hut, but there isn't one. I don't know. Maybe I've missed it. If anyone finds a beach hut emoji, just let me know. Another serious, important, feedbacky things. What is that about beach hut? Yeah. I always wonder what people do in beach huts. Maybe we should all write a poem about what people do in beach huts. There's not really space to do much, is there? So next up, we've got Pratibha. That's that right.
Hello. I am like Jude. I didn't write down what I read last time, so I hope you haven't all heard these, last time I was here. And I've got a frog in my throat. I've got a bit of a cold. So the new neighbour introduces himself, holds out his hand, and though cat sense cautions, do not touch, I freeze. That same cat caught grubbing in a bed of broccoli, that leveret on Windmill Hill, thralled in enchantment of a ferret. My throat seizes, so I cannot utter, handshake's not my thing. Puppet to his will, jerking its string, my arm lifts, hand crushed in his, flaccid as a bludgeoned fish. I snap out of this trance, mumble, must get dinner, stumble to the house, scrub passive fingers to a laundry girl flush, purge the clammy imprint of his intuited intent. One more blot to bloat the image of a boy's tobacco touch, improvising on my 10-year-old Fanny, as if it was a junkyard flute. Thank you. Excuse me. And then to leave you with something a little less perhaps disturbing, I hope not too disturbing. How can you miss what you've never known? Track the signs across the downs. A bush ablaze with blood berries from a child's pricked hand. acorns in jester bonnets, incense of trampled time, Adonis blues flickering morse, a linnet silenced. A badger's corpse, life having quit on dawn mist pause, is flopped by the track in the gloaming of two hazels, trunks entwined. Grasses stir, as if the badger snuffles still for worms and lacquer-back beetles, its imagined breath a limbo of life and release, faltering the way you falter at an unfamiliar junction, over which of three paths to take, hazy as to where each leads. A red kite keens, lures you down a chalky trail, across dust-stubbled fields, the way beyond shadowed by capricious clouds, and a grassy curve, captivating as a sleeping child's smile. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for those beautiful poems. Next up, we have Nigel Kent. Nigel, you need to unmute yourself.
Thank you for inviting me to read a couple of poems. Social commentary poems. The first one's called Recall. We're writing to inform you that we are recalling the word migrant, currently marketed by Far Right. This urgent recall has been initiated due to the words being a risk to public safety when used in conjunction with illegal, boats, channel, and benefits. This toxic combination has proven popular in areas of the north and southeast, where it has triggered bouts of flag-wearing, foul-mouthed abuse, foaming at the mouth, spitting, and spontaneous acts of violence. If you are a user, we recommend you stop immediately and do not attempt to treat these symptoms with remedies imported from the USA by the same supplier, as they are untested, expensive, harmful, and currently illegal. Please return to the word to us, and we will exchange it at Far Right's expense for your choice of alternative from the following list: victim, asylum seeker, refugee, exile, emigre. This action is being taken to ensure your well-being. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The second poem is, I guess, on a similar sort of theme, and it's called Who Let the Words Out? Words that should have been put down years ago, you kept muzzled and caged, feeding them with tidbits of hate and ambition, waiting for a time when you could unleash them, to corner the boy carrying his Quran, to savage the white-bearded imam. Snarling, foam-flecked words that once released cannot be called to heal. Words that breed with ignorance, grow fat on fear, terrorizing the streets in packs, while you sit back in five-star luxury, sipping a postprandial brandy and lecturing visiting expat mates on the dawn of a new reformed nation that is pure white, blood red, and an unnatural shade of blue. Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel. And we're just going to squeeze in one more open micer before our headliner, and that is Richard.
Thank you so much. I have a little piece on an identity crisis, so everyone who needs a trigger warning for identity crisis, lock it down. This is called Stanley and Livingston, and this actually happened. Ariel told this story. She sang and rang the power, the glory of the stranger, Sven, the pirate, when never in a hurry, you never cease to blend, seemed like a dream. He washed ashore early one morning, just a jot before dawning, when even the rooster himself was still abed yawning. His one glorious eye, not aimed forlorn at the sky, was always looking back to where they staged the attack. He raged back to where he lived before he'd set sail months before from fair Ithaca's shore, washed up 7 months later at this busy Greek restaurant door. You might guess, looking out of that riotous, glorious mess, what was it all for? Who will confess? He was swallowed up in a swirling, hurling maelstrom. In a storm-tossed sea, he'd given up all hope. Or so she told me. Iris got it into her head they hadn't dated for months. It was the line that she scornfully force-fed, you see, over tea and a crumpet lunch, not since dear Gerald, that wry Scot, had recovered his case of the mumps that he got. He walked up on the shore, right on the steps of the Greek restaurant door, tangled, mangled, nearly strangled in a bedazzled seaweed net that he'll never forget. But it seemed clear to Iris that this had all happened before. Deja vu, right at her very door. I mean, was this just what was happening there in the store? What was it? Who was that there on the floor? Well, he's one hell of a chef, said the manager, Costa Costas, who'd seen many a talented cook, but not one who could top this. Just take a look. Sven knew his way around cooking, that's for sure. He had walked boldly into the kitchen when merely minutes before he'd crawled clumsily through that very front door. Tricia had noticed, and so did old Max. Sven was the sort of character that preferred camouflaging his tracks, regardless of the facts. Loose, begad, he'd never ephemeral with his slacker's loose grasp on the fruity, nutty facts. The patch over his eye had a life of its own. Someone had embroidered on it the tiniest crown and a sparkling little LED throne. Mary, she had a story to tell. She was undercover doing research for a paperback book she just had to sell. Her research, you see, was part of a study of a life-song lotion worker who had a history with Putty. Putty was the fellow you may remember more than just a little nutty. He had dated Lorraine. That much was plain. You remember he was once a sponge diver, a survivor who turned pirate, you see. He lived on a sailboat, a thrifty little frail boat, off the south coast of Spain, where it remains to this day in a quiet little quay, just north of a reef, out of reach of those irrepressible thieves. Iris researched on her theory of identity, inspired her to regularly change her name. In this fertile second half of the last century, who scarcely deserves any lingering dysentery. Her specialized research, and then there was the chef, here named Sven, they collided outside the Greek restaurant where he'd reliably assured her the exact change once again. She had a most discreet relationship with Sven till late one night over a bottle of Chianti. They got sort of romantic, but Sven reared up, tilted, nearly upended his cup, paused and said, "Please stop me. Don't hop atop me. I might just act with abandon, and therefore, from now on, dear Iris, you best call me Brandon." Thank you. At a gallop.
Thanks so much, Richard. Thank you for that. I feel like that could be a really good, I want to see that wrapped, or maybe I want to see wrap it next time. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Right. I know we're all really excited to hear our headliner, Karen Downs-Barton. So I'll just give you a little bit of an intro, but I'm sure that her work talks for itself. So Karen is an award-winning working class poet based in Wiltshire. Her debut collection, Minx, is a memoir in poetry. She won the John Pollard Foundation International Poetry Prize and featured in the Guardian's Best Poetry of the Year 2025. And her pamphlet, Didicoy, sorry, in my glasses, won the International Poetry Book and Pamphlet Competition and was a Poetry Book Society recommendation. She's also appeared on the BBC Radio 4's The Verb, headlined at Ledbury Festival. Is that Ledbury Poetry Festival? That's my neck of the woods. Nice. Lyra Bristol Poetry Festival and many, many other festivals. I'm just going to shut up now and hand over to the wonderful Karen. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Emma, for that lovely introduction, and also to Jason for asking me to read. I have to say, I've been sitting here really enjoying things. So it's a bit of a step change. Now I have to put that behind me and read for you all. When Jason said that there was no set theme for this evening's reading, I thought, oh, great, cool. I'll choose a selection from Minx. But actually, as I was putting a few poems together, I thought, there's a thread or a journey, perhaps. and it naturally emerged within the group of poems. So without further ado, I'll begin the journey with two poems from a forthcoming pamphlet that I can't tell you anything about because it's embargoed until October. But what I can tell you is that both of the poems use a form I've invented called a spare rib. It was created in response to legacy anthologies that don't include a single female voice. In fact, one of the epigraphs of one of the books, called Worlds, says, "I regret the lack of inclusion of female poets in this anthology. It is purely due to the fact that England in the last 15 years hasn't produced a single female poet of note," which was like, oh, hello, you know, red rag to a bull. And so I created this little form, and it takes, for every single title and every line in its ribs, which are 12, obviously, it starts with a title from within one of these anthologies that doesn't include female voices. Bit political, perhaps, bit of a decolonization, perhaps, a bit of a middle finger to books that exclude women. Unlike me to be so adamant about things. And the first poem is "To Blossoms Mum Grew from Rusty Paint Tins." Her answer to a zoetrope of temporary accommodation we called home, the flea pits, floorboards bowed at wormy joist, drab tower blocks, were the dreamscapes Mum painted while we slept. Wood was a bitumen-edged sonnet of black beauty, graffiti sprayed concrete. Framing phantom rugs, her imagination cultivated over weeks, months. Scavenged paint green-fingered the gardens of roses and castles, meadows and ferneries from bare patches. Still, to be neat, she talked grids, a book spine used as a slipstick ruler. But cherry-ripe umbels, vines and knotted brambles straggled unpruned over neatish borders. The will to create a richer canvas once resulted in the roots and branches of a poison tree gilded in enamel that wouldn't dry. We walked a Stygian darkness for days, dared not cross the liquid centre. Mum was a proud roamer. She dwelt among untrodden ways, strew petals on paths of her own design. And that's completely true. She used to paint the floors, and sometimes we'd wake up in the morning and go slithering over the top if she's fallen asleep and didn't warn us that she'd been painting the floors. It's most peculiar, but really beautiful. I'd like to embrace the pickle that most people have in their childhoods, and certainly mine was a bit of a pickle. And for me, that's where that lack of perfection is where the real interest lies. So continuing the hodgepodge of gardening theme, I'd like to have another spare rib poem, and this one is called "Grace for a Child with a Garden in the Clouds." Ode to the West Wind, a hat-lifting vortex around barren Essex Tower. Ode to a nightingale, its paper kite body tugged free from my window. Description of spring lit by the Ladybird Book of Indoor Gardening. Ode on a Grecian urn, sugared plastic, threepence at the sweet shop. Love is small hands tending seed swamps, toy dinosaurs roaming. Oh, to the yeoman, pruning a windowsill estate, higher than bee flight. Nurture the clouded biospheres, master rainfalls on mossy stone and firm spores. Oh, to simplicity of spiderettes, liberated from the school spider plant. delighting disorder of tangled alfalfa, soilless crops for a lunchbox. Ode to autumn, Nan's garden, sour guzgog flesh sucked from pips. Ode, 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 and a country song for the scrumped seeds dried on bog roll, and yes, a requiem for underwatered, overwatered, and mouldered passing fads. So I'd like to share a 3-sonnet sequence from Minx that stemmed from memories of a family furore caused by my mother buying me a rocking horse. And as you can tell, we came from a pretty poor family, so I can understand that my grandparents were up in arms about it. However, often when we poets write the past, we bring our adult lens to the montage of memories we've stored away. And this sequence sits sort of vicariously in 3 iterations of that space. I think I ought to say the Romany words in the poem are Grai, which is horse, Paramisha, which is like legends or stories, Droms means road, Baldron Falki means onward road people, which is the Roma or travellers. Vongista is a ring or gold. Chulmi is a great word, I think, and it means clouds. Patrin, leaves, and also book leaves, same as English. Rowney, it's a lady, but generally means a bit of a posh lady. Kezali is a spinner of tales. Trin petalas, 3 horseshoes. Mandy's Koshteni Grai, my wooden horse. Her shadow hooves are pairings of dark sky, beneath a dappled constellation hide. Pillion on a red leather wolf moon, I lean forward in the saddle, whisper into the velvet twitch of her ears. We ride through Paramisha, where I play bold Damanjanti, rescue fallen ones from Triplehead the ogre. My Romany Grai was conjured from his monstrous meal of lead pellets. I call my steed Mattia, night spirit, and she carries me, light as half-remembered stories on her starry back. Our drums follow the dust of comet tails, trails for Paldon Falki, nobody else. Puri Mai, grandmother. Nobody else would have kept the child, moved here, where we are known, set it up in the window for the world to see. Gave her a rocking horse. The back and forth drives the couple downstairs half balmy. Me, I want to know where the money's come from. A Green Hamleys van all the way from London. What did they think, them delivery men? A babby? And no Von Gister on her finger? Bedroom shared mother and daughter? Were they offered tea? Some back route flirting by the tin bath hung from a nail on the wall? The times I've bailed her out, God knows what she puts us through. For a child, on an horse, riding nowhere. Mamas, mother. On a horse riding nowhere, swing irons creaking, my child rocks her wooden steed. I watch her ride, bare feet in stirrups, reins loose, arms wide to the world. The neck curtains billow. They are her chulmi, her swirling patrin flown through. When she tires, slumped in the saddle, head rested on the horse's mane, she croons, "Come Grai, come Grai," arms looped about its neck. I bring them my torn paper offerings. "Fresh hay for your steed, my Rowney." Her hand busies at its muzzle, and I marvel at the silk spells my Kezali spins, unwind a curled lock fallen at her forehead. It springs back like a pairing of dark sky. And people often ask where I come from. And I have to say, we've moved about a lot. I think of it not as a cultural thing, nothing to do with being Roma, but really about poverty and lacking options. And it's in this vein that I'd like to dedicate the next poem to women everywhere who do what they have to put food on the table. Of the men who came as shadows in the night, Part 3. Do you remember the stealthy men that knocked at night? Whispered negotiations, the metal rasp as the chain slid, the door opened. Or when they slipped that other world to shadow our days. They worked in shops Mum scurried past, leered from corners or spilt like stale beer from pub doorways. Some spat, passing remarks she'd do her best to explain away. And always, at that stage, we'd move on to some fresh place, clean start, which was the start of the same knocks, same remarks, just recycled. There'd be a new home, better or worse than the last, a new school, friends to make, and a new name to grow into, memorize to get it right on exercise books. Mum would wait at new school gates, never quite fitting in, but trying. Once a policeman picking up children laughed, said he almost didn't recognise her with her clothes on. And when she said, "Not in front of my girls," I knew we'd be moving on again. We were always running away from something. When Minx was first published and I started sharing the poem, that particular one, at events, I found it really difficult. I spent so much of my childhood hiding things that I had quite a few wobbles with it. I think it was more like the reaction of people, like men and women, who have similar experiences or who've seen people who've had those experiences and who talk to me after readings, emphasizes for me how important facing into difficult stories, like Pratibha's, can be. The next poems are another sequence of 3 sonnets. I don't know what's happening to me here. This time about the culture clash of being in state childcare. For a Roma kid, it's a big culture shock. Majare pen, the rules of hygiene. In state children's homes, clothes you arrived in are taken away for washing, and you might never see them again. The prefects collect clothes in plastic baskets, ovals big enough to take a ride in, skidded across the linoleum landing. Boys force each other's sweaty heads into piles of dirty knickers, scolded by laughing nurses. New children, who ask after their own clothes, are teased with tales of gifts to jumble sales, burnings in boilers. But if you're sent to the caretaker's office, he'll let you watch machines churn clothes in greyed water, spot your waving jumper and kicking trousers. Your waving jumper and kicking trousers decorate bushes far from each other. A windy wash day beside Nan's Vardo. You learn what a Romany chai should know. Separate clothes by body parts. Top half in white bowls, bottom half in blue. Sprinkle fistfuls of snowflake soap. Swirl water to blizzards. Scrub, wring, rinse, ring. This Mockady law shapes rituals of cleaning. Nan's bowls are emptied according to function. Cleaner water near larder shrubs where fennel, mint or lavender are gathered. Bottom half water is slooshed in ditches. Raw hands washed to touch the bunch clothes, cleaned of their grey swill. To touch the bunch clothes washed in their grey swill. The caretaker uses calipers, hoiks steamy meshed arms, bodies, legs to tumble dry. Mist sighs from a drooping proboscis hanging at a part-opened window. Fust lingers on clothing, skin. I imagine him as a dung beetle with pincer mandibles rolling shipball clothes. Under the motto, personal possessions breed discontent, I practice a pretense of interest in the wonders of his washing machines. I'm looking for the clothing I arrived in. It won't be stealing. No one here wants to wear clothes worn by a dirty gypsy. The motto, personal possessions breed discontent, was something I encountered literally on my first night when I tried to find my way to where my sister was billeted, for want of a better phrase. I snuck out of bed and I told the nurse I was looking for a toy rabbit, which I came with, which is true. I was secretly after my sister. I was on a mission to grab her and make off with her. But I was foiled before I even got down the staircase. So to finish, I'd like to share another poem from Minx, and it kind of picks up on that first night in the children's home. The care system, I have to say, is very different these days, thankfully. But the strange labelling system that existed within that particular home, they kind of speckle throughout the pages of Minx. It has references all the time to birds, to flight, to landing. And I think that this poem picks it up quite nicely. Before I say it, thank you very much for listening. And it's been a joy to be here. Night as a collective, listening. At her desk on the landing, the night duty nurse, softened in ochre lamplight, is reading a paperback book. Head occasionally lifting, half listening for the furtive footsteps of those sneaking out of bed without permission. Through the door, labelled fledglings, a finger of light touches my bed. Along the dawn, silhouettes of other children tucked up in rows listen to hear if the new girl will cry. I am silent, except for the controlled of staccato breaths. Wakeful on the damp pillow that was not aired on a lavender bush and does not smell of home. I'm listening to the nurse turning pages on the landing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thanks for sharing that amazing set with us. Beautiful poems, and what a way to end. If everybody can take their unmute themselves now and share some love and clapping and clicking and
Bravo!
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, well done.
Oh,
It's very nice.
And begin. That was fantastic.
Okay, we're going to have a short break of 5 to 6 minutes. You can have a tea and a wee, a vape, and that changing from your cape or whatever else rhymes with that. So we'll see you in about 5 to 6 minutes. Okay. There you go.
Talking about
Make sure we do that before we start talking, so we don't have to do the same intro again, which is just awkward. Okay, welcome back. I hope you're all feeling refreshed and poetic in the second half. Thanks once again to Karen for such wonderful headline slot. Just to give you some announcements, and if you've got your diary with you, the next Crafty Crows is the 2nd of September, and that's Willis the Poet. Looking forward to that one. The 7th of October, that's Kate Jenkinson. And the 4th of November, that's Stacey Dyson. And hopefully either Jason or I will put those dates in the chat so that you can copy and paste them into your diary, into your electronic diary. Okay. So we have some wonderful open micers coming up in the second half. But first of all, we've got me again, Sacrificial Lamb, opening the second half. You think this one's new to most of you. And I couldn't read it before because I was waiting for the book to be published. So this one's called How to Break a Heart. Tell her you love her. Tell her she's everything and more. Tell her when you wake in the morning, you can think of nothing else. Send her video messages telling her that you saw her face in your morning coffee. You can still taste her from the last time. Tell her you want to see her more, see more of her, reveal her in the morning light. Even though you know you don't have time to, even though deep down your heart is not in it, your own heart is not healed. Yet still tell her you're ready to love and be loved. Tell her she's your world, let her open her heart, cast aside doubt that remains from the past like ashes. Leave her post-it notes on the mirror. Use words. Say them with meaning, mean them, and then don't. Don't mean them. Don't use them. Use silence. Let it radiate and burn her cheeks as she sits wondering what's going on inside your head. You hope she won't notice, but she does, and it haunts her. Breaks her heart again and again. You can't handle the inevitable conversation, so you archive her number. You draft explanatory text, then delete and repeat until it starts to eat away at you. And you've broken a heart, and now your heart breaks a little too. Thank you. Right. Getting straight on into the next half, we start with Derek. Welcome, Derek.
Hello. Thank you, Emma. Okay, here we go. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Now it's time for Sports Report. The FA Premier League. Arsenal 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. You see, I love that, how the intonation of the voice lets you know Wolves have lost before you're told Wolves have lost. Consider too the away win, or if you prefer, the home defeat. Chelsea 1, Liverpool 3. Get in. Yes, the BBC's James Alexander Gordon, or Jag as he like to be called, is the man most closely associated with this vocal technique, honed decades before the advent of predictive text. Back in the day, a big part of the match-going experience was hastily legging it back to the car after the game and excitedly switching on the radio just in time to hear Everton 0, Crystal Palace 0. Ah, yes, the grim, sepulchral cadence of the goalless stalemate. But even if reporting on an 8-goal end-to-end score-draw thriller, Jag would deliver the result in flawlessly neutral inflection, never once revealing where his own personal allegiance lay. And I'm given to wonder how he would have read out the rather mundane happenings of my own day-to-day existence, as if they too were football results. Exercise 0, chocolate cake 1. Procrastination 3, action 0. Glasses of wine drunk last night 1. Disproportionately awful hangover experienced this morning 5. Walking the dog 1. Not walking the dog 1. Actually, I don't have a dog. Know where I got that from. But after he'd rattled through the English League, he'd move on to the Scottish results, wouldn't he? Aberdeen 0, Dundee United 0, Celtic 0, Ross County 0, Hamilton Academical 0, Heart of Midlothian 0. Oh, for fuck's sake, Scotland, where have all the goals gone? Goals I had as a young man versus goals I have now. Match postponed. Pundit verdict, home win. But we do have one late kick-off to bring you from the Scottish League 2. East Fife 4, Forfar 5. At last, it finally happened. The comedy scoreline we've always wanted, and a timely reminder that life's goals may be plundered in the unlikeliest of places. James Alexander Gordon, we salute you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Next up is in the room, Ed Poetastic. Are you here? Yes, you are.
I am here. Thank you
Hi.
for a wonderful host I love the most, that goes coast to coast, that never boast. Hello, everyone. My name is Ed Poetastic. Hope everyone feeling fantastic. Please give me the time to go join my rhyme, for I feel sublime. Thank you so much for giving me the time. I got one piece. This is called Affordable Banter. No, I'm sorry. This is called More or Less. I'm sorry, here it is. Give us a break or a slice of cake. For goodness sake, no more salty lakes. It doesn't get easy. Our pockets are uneasy. Our hearts are empty, teardrop of sympathy, bordering on fumes, shredding our costumes. Things are super hard. Life loves to bombard. Money flies high. Why isn't that a surprise? Hello, millionaires and billionaires. Can you share? Life isn't fair, but do you dare to show us care? Give us meaning for our demeaning. Give us peace for our release. Give us a helping hand in this crazy land. Give us less weight. Donate to motivate. Give us change, subside the rage. Give us relief, hope or belief. Hey, don't be stingy. Your heart stays skinny. You're a human too. Please get a clue. You used to be like us, minus the greed and fuss. Where is your humanity? Don't feed your vanity. Again, please give back, for everything goes black. Thank you.
Thanks for those rhymes, Ed. As I said to Gerald, I'm just thinking about cake now. I'll take the cake. Next up is Rose.
Sorry, I thought I was after Jason.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm going to be reading from, that's back to front. Much what I know about love I learnt from trees. It's not, I'll break it to you, it's not actually a book about trees. It's about family. And I'm starting with a poem from the early days. It's called Paired Corners. Sister, do you remember watching Mum and Dad perform the dance of folding double bed sheets? I could have watched forever and never tired. And in my mind's eye, the sheet never gets smaller, so he and she forever step together, tendering their gifts of paired corners. Then step back, opening wide their arms, the clean linen billowing between them, white as angel wings. And then the sheet drawn taut with fine and practiced precision along smooth centre lines that both agreed upon, without debate. I thought that they would always know which steps to take, which way the cloth would fall. But it turns out that they didn't always know, and things went a bit downhill. And just cutting to later on, my mother got involved with a con man, and this one's called Invested. If he'd never come to my parents' door, if they'd never agreed to let him stay rent-free till he got paid, if my dad hadn't been 11 years her senior and frail from heart failure, if the man hadn't been young and some would say good-looking, if my parents hadn't longed for a way to make amends for their life of privilege, which was not their making, and let's face it, was lovely with their daughters riding ponies and laundry being picked up and delivered back, pressed and folded, if they hadn't embraced a spiritual path wanting to be better people, more evolved, purified, if their backgrounds hadn't soaked them in a doctrine of good Samaritans and benevolent visits to the needy, if my mother hadn't developed bipolar late in life out of nowhere, if her mania hadn't made her feel young again and I can do anything and somewhat frisky, if he hadn't been an evil fucker with a gift for telling lies, if I had only been a loving daughter, maybe she would have listened. Maybe she would have told him to get lost. Maybe she would not have gone with him to the bank for the first 25,000, after which there was no going back. You.
Thanks so much, Rose.
Hi, Emma. I think you skipped me.
I did. I didn't see the updated list, so yeah, that's all good. You're next, Maddie.
Okay, I just want to say it's my first time reading a poem in public, even to someone in general. I had a rush into me last month, and I wrote 50 poems I made a book basically based on a story. So all the 50 poems has a meaning between them, has a connection. All right. So the first poem is The Real Me. I wander in circles, asking, who is the real me? For months and days, I think and struggle. I know myself sad. I know myself angry. I'm a mess, and sometimes afraid of myself. Today, I know I have peeled back the layers of my soul. The shelter I thought was safe was never safety at all. Safety is freedom, the freedom to speak, to feel life itself, to love, to cry, to embrace whatever comes. The real me sounds like a mad woman who has found a hidden treasure, when in truth it's simple. To feel is to be alive, and for my heart to understand that she can love and still be free. And I do have another poem that I want to read. I wasn't sure, but because everyone's reading too, I will read too as well. The Heart I Set Free, it's called. I had imprisoned my heart for a lifetime, and when I finally set her free, she was neither held nor cared for. Yet she kept beating and followed you into places you hide. She keeps climbing walls that have grown so high, but love keeps growing. My heart understands that freedom comes when we finally see that all we ever wanted was right in front of us. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Maddie. Thank you. Jason, you're up. Finally, sorry.
Thank you. Well done, Maddie. It takes a lot of courage to read, so thank you for coming along. And wonderful set, Karen. It's a pleasure to hear it. I've got two for you based around autism, but it can also be translated to wider neurodivergence. First one is called Cephalopod. We swim together, out there, whatever weather, untethered. Like sealed exhibits, neither wants to be revealed. We suffocate under beady glares that burn our skin. I envy how you can squeeze into the smallest space, escape in a blink like black ink on black paper. I can only join you in sleep, bathing in darkness. Being whatever we dream, unstuck as oil on glass, repelled but compelled to glide by those over water. Folk with hooks and nets to trap us in fuss and chat, dry us out, hang us on their every breath. And Wired, after Circuitry by Anthony Anaxagoras. Come the start of May, I hoped the buzz would recede in my ears. Electricity and the walls whirring, singing static. This void hones reception to join the shipping forecast. A boat tugged by the current as drums beat and sparks fire in my motionless state. Body submerged by cotton ripples. Mosquitoes swarm from sockets in symphonic resonance as waves drown neural networks. Outside noise, there is always noise. My brain hyper-processes, a needle to vinyl. Dark noise plays nightly, a satellite discovering inaudible signals. If genetics carries code in strings, my father punched holes in my piano roll. Each negative space registers pitch. Behind these eyes, walls of violins playing devilry to a high-functioning vessel, overtuned, who must forgive his godless ears. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jason. Thank you. Next up, where is he? Robert Hunton.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Yep. I'd like to read a poem that was inspired by Nigel's poems about immigrants. It's called A Room with a View. Sitting at my window, looking out upon the world beyond, it is only my street, which I have lived on, looked out upon for many years, but in my eyes the street seems to encapsulate this street scene encapsulates the whole world. Here we have immigrants from every corner of the planet, bringing their diversity and difference directly to our doorsteps, bringing their colors to brighten our eyes, bringing their languages to enrich our ears, bringing their cuisine to tantalize our taste buds. Sorry, it's a little. So come on. Oops. Yeah, the view from my window has changed over the years. The view from my room has improved over the years. I am happy to invite the ever-changing world to my front door. I will not allow any detractors to tell me anything different. I will let no one turn my street of many colors and cultures back into a tasteless, monochrome world. Oh. Yes, that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thanks so much, Robert. Thank you. And next up is Josephine. Welcome.
Isn't that it? I was saying hi, thank you, Emma. And thanks, Jason, and lovely set, Karen. Okay. There's a couple of poems for Derek because he read my book, which is a kind of, I'm not good with this, a kind of alchemy, and he said some nice things about a couple of poems. So I'm going to read the two that he mentioned, or two of the ones he mentioned. So the first one is Be Like Chagall. With the end of a pencil, erase the imprint of arrogant white men. See through the eyes of divergent folk, sketch them in softer lines. Be in love with small things. Weave a fabric of art and dreams, wear it close to your heart. Let goats and chickens float in indigo skies. When the crescent moon shines, rise above the roofs of your town. Dance, your cheek close to your lover's face, and let there be bouquets of white flowers. And the other one is allotment. This is for people who have allotments. They must be struggling at the moment. I do feel sorry for them. There's just one word in this poem, Celion. It means the strip that a medieval peasant was given to grow things in. Allotment. Earthed amid roots, my father understands soil and season. His hands pan grit, sow seed. He nurtures plants with gentle fingers, senses need, the rise of sap, the DNA of chloroplast. The shed is shelter, a camp with stove, old kettle and chair. There he sits to view his beds between baked earth paths. This is his Celion, and like a serf from centuries past, in early spring he drills potatoes, onion sets, offers waste for compost, placates the gods. His boots tramp soft earth as he tends prized produce for the harvest show. Arthritic legs wrapped against the cold, an old soldier of the soil. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Graham.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Got two poems for you this evening. And the first one is called To My Friend, and it's written for a good friend of mine when they were going through a bit of a rough time. And it goes like this. To my friend, I hope that you're well in all you do today. Be it full of joy and happiness, then let me celebrate with you, as you deserve the best in life. Or if it is hurt that fills you, then I am there for your tears. Please do not leave them inside of you. If you are willing to share with me, then I will come to you to hear your news of good or ill. But if you need the time to process all that's happened until now, then know that I will wait for you. As you, my friend, are so special to me in every single way, that is too numerous for me to say. So I am always there for you whenever it is needed for you, and all you have to do is call. And the second I've got for you is called Little Plans. Take on the little plans, the small things, the baby steps that build into blocks with which the future pathway is built. What somebody else sees when sees only the finish without a plan how to reach there. Look for the next step along the way. That place that takes you to the right direction. of whatever the final place resides. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. So we have one more reader, like Bisto, saving the best for last or something like that, isn't it, Clive? So we've got a poem about Bisto. Just before you do, we've got a little bit of time left. So if anybody's not read and would like to, send me a message, or if you'd like to read another poem, send me a message and I'll try to squeeze you in. Okay, but before that, I will hand you over to the lovely Clive.
Right, it's definitely put the lunatic at the end and hope nobody notices. Okay, so this is actually an older poem, if you want to call it a poem. I mean, most people wouldn't, but I do. So this is an older one that's been rewritten and retitled, and it's now got the rather snappy title of When a Writer is Researching Two Projects and Blends Them Together When Drunk on Duty. The 20th century started badly for Vicky Pollard, who croaked it after 64 years on the throne, allowing Edward Scissorhands to become king. He was blunted 9 years later and succeeded by Curious George. George's reign had its moments. 2 years in, Captain Pugwash drove the Titanic into an iceberg, which was a bit careless, and the following year, Emily Quackfaster interfered with his horse. In 1914, World War I kicked off following the assassination of Fred Flintstone, and things got a bit messy. Nothing much happened in Britain in the 1920s other than Yogi Bear inventing television. But in Chicago, Larry the Cucumber was being a bit of a shit, until he was banged up for tax evasion in 1931. The 30s sort of came and went until Humpty Dumpty declared war on Germany, after SpongeBob SquarePants invaded Poland. Thankfully, it didn't go to penalties. After the war, things got a bit boring. But 1949 was a swine, with Fozzie Bear becoming the big cheese in China, and Charlie Brown becoming the firstborn of the future Queen Leah. Charlie went on to have an ill-fated marriage, which resulted in him accepting Ed Sheeran into the family, but he eventually found happiness with Champion the Wonder Horse. The 1950s pretty much disappeared down the toilet, but in the 60s along came the Beatles to cheer us up, with Thomas the Tank Engine on drums. The highlight of the 1970s, other than the Winter of Discontent, was probably Inspector Clouseau joining the West Midlands Serious Crime Squad. That's how shit the 70s were. But then, Marge Simpson fucked it all up by becoming Prime Minister in 1979. The 1980s were a desolate wasteland of hopelessness and despair thanks to Marge. But the 90s saw the emergence of the Spice Girls, Hilda Ogden, Ina Sharples, Nora Batty and Hyacinth Bucket, and the Beatles tribute band, Oasis, led by Beavis and Butthead. Count Dracula guided New Labour to power in the 1997 election. The end of a lot of things, but not war crimes, cronyism or rampant capitalism, obviously. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Clive. So I've had a few people messaging about reading. So next up is Gareth.
Okay, oh, can you hear me?
Can hear you, yes.
Okay, here's a poem from a summer special I did last year. I'll put a summer special in the chat afterwards so you can read more summer poems. It's called The Best Things About Summer. The two best things about summer and what makes it a dream are going to the seaside and lots of ice cream. So there's a special summer treat I've planned. I've made a beach with ice cream instead of sand. Okay, you can't walk barefoot or ride a donkey. You can't even eat ice cream. It's ruined by the sea. But it's good to remember what summer is all about. To see its elements combined when you're going out.
Thanks, Gareth. Really enjoyed that one. Next up, we're going on to Gerald. We're going to share another poem with us.
Yeah, what the accessibility arts event I was at the Karma Community Garden, during one of the exercises we went round, and there's an olive tree that's been in the garden since 2015, and I've walked past it and I hadn't looked at it, and it has a sign on it saying, planted by the visitors from Khobar in the Palestinian West Bank as a symbol of peace and friendship with the people of Walsall, from the Walsall Khobar Friendship Association, because we used to, before all the current trouble, people from Khobar would come over and we'd go over there to help them. So this olive tree has grown. So I wrote this little poem for it. I wanted to share it for you, and think of of all the olive trees that it's so important issue. It seems so content, the olive tree. It doesn't remember its past, budding in the soil of Palestine. Back when you could come from Khobar to this garden. Back when there was hope for new growth, for 100,000 olives in their native soil. For all those things that have been blown away or bulldozed, except for this tree, which has come from Palestine, sunk roots into English soil, grown strong and healthy, learnt the language, lays of many voices merging. In the arms of this small garden, it is learning to be welcome. So I thought I'd share that one with you. And keep, working for the people to have, the olive trees back and not to have them grubbed up. Thank you.
Thanks, Gerald. And next up is Ellen.
I have got one poem to share called Change of Mind. An email came that made me smile, an interview, a chance at last. For the first time in quite a while, I thought the hard days might have passed. I let myself believe in it. I finally felt some hope inside. I started planning, getting ready with nervousness I couldn't hide. For me, it's never quick or easy. My learning difficulty means I need more time. I practiced questions, made my notes, determined to give it all of mine. Then another email came last night, the words still echo in my head. Sorry we've changed our mind due to the recruitment process was all it simply said. Just like that, it was over, no chance to show who I could be. After all the time I spent preparing, it felt like they'd forgotten me. It wasn't only an interview, it was hope that disappeared, a chance I hold on to so tightly, now replaced by doubt and tears. I know I'll carry on somehow, even if today feels long and blue, because one person's change of mind won't decide what I can do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ellen. And they've really missed out on having you on board. You're a great poet. If everybody take their everybody unmute themselves. Give yourselves a round of applause. Lots of love.
Absolutely great.
Well done, everyone.
And thank you to Karen, our headliner. Thank you to Jason. And thank you to Crafty Crows and Gloucestershire Poetry Society. And we will see you again on the 2nd of September for Willis the Poet.
Oh, that'll be fun. You were just
and round of applause for Emma for great hosting as usual.
Brilliant.
Yeah, great hosting.
Thank you.